First of all, it's not because a desire is arising again and again that it's time to go for it, but it is time to accept it, to be there, which is a different thing, because then as yogis, let's say, we try to go for it at the right time, meaning when it can happen in harmony. No? That is, of course, very important, because if we do not include that, then somebody might, I don't know, have some really bad desire, but feel it is coming back and back and back, no? And so then say, okay, now I have to go for it, because it's there. If we are going to treat whatever comes out of the subconscious, because these are things coming out of the subconscious in such a lax way, no? Okay, no, that's not the idea. So, but if it comes again and again and again, we do accept it. Still depends a little bit, I think, how it manifests, but we do accept it to be there to some degree, no? And that this is, maybe why also we took this birth, and or one of the reasons, no, why we took this birth, and so we should try to fulfill it, but in dharma, no, in harmony, which means not damaging other people, not damaging also ourselves, no? Okay, to some degree, because life is very damaging to our health. So we cannot totally exclude that, but dharma there, of course, is very important, no? But for sure, no, this desire thing, we can say it is the root of all our problems, but there we are again, making something very natural into something like which we don't want, because it has some potential side effects which are not good. And the same we do it with the ego, and just as the ego, as I explained, is very natural, because otherwise how to even talk, then desire is also very natural, because desire makes everything move. No? In the tantric way, the whole universe is the result of desire. No? And desire is Shakti. This is such a very important understanding. No? Desire is power. Desire is energy. They both go together. No? When you have the desire for something, you also have the energy for it. When you don't desire something, you don't have the energy for it. It's going both ways. So desire is totally natural. So in that way, we should not like push away any desire. That is only needed when all that we desire is peace. So it is our choice, but it is not like a moral obligation. So yes, if we desire to meditate, if we desire to come to peace completely, then we push all other desires away. Which is the same thing actually when we desire something else. No? Then we also push all other desires away and fully concentrate on, let's say, playing guitar, making good food, writing a book, or whatever. No? It's not different there. And so then when we are saying, okay, I want peace, yes, but I also want chocolate cake, that is our choice. That is our freedom, which is there. No? And so then, okay, we can have chocolate cake, but maybe a good chocolate cake for starters, and a limited amount, so that other people can also enjoy it. And we ourselves are not too much like bringing our system out of harmony with all this sugar and other stuff which is in there. No? So and that's the whole game about desires. But what they are mentioning is something my first teacher Harish Johari very often mentioned, no? And very important understanding is there. If a desire comes, forget it, because mind comes up with all kinds of desires. That is actually part of the functioning of mind. It sees something, it says, oh wow, nice, let's take it, so that's mind. So you do not always immediately go after that. But if mind comes up with something again and again and again, okay, understand this is part of who you are as an individual. No? We are not only the pure self, which is the same in everybody. We are individuals. Like we had a more Jupiter-like person here, and we will have Mars-like persons here, and Venus-like persons, and so on. And like, for example, if you take a Venus-dominated person, then that person basically came here in this life for many of the more Venus kind of enjoyments, which is about love and good music and good food and pleasing the senses and, being a real bogi, which means to be a master of enjoyment, a master of boga. So, if you are going to go against that, you have the freedom. But if you are going to go against that, it will probably not make you very peaceful. Because that desire is so basic in you that all the time it will keep bothering you. So then the question is not, should I push this all away? The question is only, how do I bring it into balance? How can I fulfill this desire, but without bringing imbalance to others or myself? Not spending all the household money on all kinds of comforts and enjoyments and parties. Not creating problems there for others. Being moderate, and also in ourselves, for our body, for our health, being moderate, and still reserving also time for other things, including meditation. Give it a place. That is such a very important understanding about the element of space. Space is in tantric way associated with love, with the mother energy, because space, it gives everybody a space. Like you can say in the environment, every species has a particular niche where conditions are optimal for that species, and so it gets a place. So that is very important also here, that whatever we find there in terms of desires, if it is not just a little bit like a fantasy of mind, but it comes again and again, and we feel, okay, this must be something important, we find what is the proper place. Too many people, and definitely in yogic circles, they get in a like conflict with it. It is not needed. It is clearly there. It is part of why you are here. So you give it a place, but you give it the proper place, where it brings you what you want, but does not, take away other things that you also want, like your peace, like your health, like your relationships, and so on. So then everything gets its proper place. This is the art of balancing, that is yoga. The art of yoga is, you can say, union, always remembering you are actually not this individual, we are all one, and so on. That is the part of union. But the other part is the milkmaid carrying 2 buckets on its shoulders, the yoke, and balancing both. So there, balancing everything means giving everything its proper place. There's a time for this and there is a time for that. And so much money goes to this and so much money goes to that. It works in very many, very practical ways.